Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the SiGMA podcast, where today we're going to be three instead of two. We'll not use a particular term because it could be construed in a different manner, but I am really happy to welcome Pierre and Martin from the newly rebranded Next.io, formerly iGaming Next, and the organizers of one of the best shows, not just on a European and world level, but one of the best content and location as well, hosting it at the MCC in Malta. Pierre, Martin, thank you so much for accepting our invite today.
It's great to be here with our friends over at SiGMA.
Thank you, Trevor.
And as people can see, SiGMA, Next.io, all different companies. We are one big family. We do work together, and we do try to help each other out. And in fact, this is my first, let's sort of, not question, but observation. If you look at Malta, the ecosystem in Malta, I don't think you see a cutthroat, ultra-competitive environment, but you actually see an industry which tries to help each other out, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Malta has always been really business friendly as in the 13 years that I've been here with obviously Gaming Malta and Ivan, and the guys are doing everything they can to make sure that the industry flourishes here locally. And what is unique with Malta as well is that we have political support as an industry. And so there are a lot of forces that are working in favor of the industry to continue to establish Malta as the home of gaming excellence.
I am not going to stay Pierre and Martin, so whenever one of you wants to pitch in and speak, I'll just come in and we'll talk a bit over on top of each other. Yes, but so Martin, if you want to add anything to that, you're more than welcome.
No, like Pierre mentioned, it's a great support system, and even with companies who do competing things in the industry, it's always been very friendly. I think it's like the market is big enough for everyone.
Yeah. Yes. So when exactly is the show happening in Malta?
So it's So it's 14th to 16th of May, with the main conference 15th and 16th. We have some activities the entire week as well, actually, with some sport, even starting on the 13th, and then some poker and other things on the 17th. So it's Monday to Friday, and then you can rest on the weekend. Yep.
It's a whole week.
Yes.
It's a whole week.
Yeah,
and you'll be hosting
full-on festival.
Yeah,
full-on festival, Trevor.
And you're going to be hosting it at MCC as usual.
Yeah, third year in a row.
How beautiful of a location is that?
Yeah, it's incredible. Trevor, we have a lot of Americans traveling over, and I would say especially for the Americans that may not have that kind of rich, thousands of years old kind of culture. For them to step into the Mediterranean Conference Center, which was built 500-600 years ago.
That actually was a hospital.
As a hospital back in the day, yes. And now obviously it's been turned into a really incredible and unique exhibition center. It's something that you don't expect, as a conference where you generally go into this kind of square and a bit impersonal venues, but this is something completely different.
I am quite the nerd on the Knights of the Order of St. John.
Tell us the history.
I could. Right now, I'm actually reading one of the latest books about the Great Siege, which took place in 1565, and the MCC was built. Well, the hospital at the time was built after the Great Siege, but I am sure that when La Valette and his architect, especially the Maltese architect, Jlor Mukassar, were looking at developing and building Valletta, they never thought that 600 years later, Next.io would be hosting an event over there. For sure. I don't think he's turning around in his grave. I think that the Knights actually had the foresight of developing certain industries on the island, which helped the island grow also economically, and to a certain extent. I'm not going to compare you guys to the Knights of the Order of St. John, but the vision is there that you want to grow the gaming sector on this island, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if the Knights were still here, we'd definitely offer them some complimentary tickets to the show. At least they can be happy knowing that.
Well, if you can't get, at least if you want, there's a Trevor De Giorgio who wouldn't mind getting one and attending. And
maybe we could have some.
Taken.
Maybe we could have some Next branding on their shields or their cloaks or something as well.
Yeah, for sure. But and also the way the roof area has now been restored and opened up also for activities and events. I was invited to a reception over there, and the fact that you are immersed in so much history, and then you look over the glass partitions and you have the Grand Harbor underneath you, which has also seen so much history. I think that makes it the most unique location you can have, right?
Yeah. I mean, we get feedback every year, Trevor. People step into the venue and are just amazed stepping in for the first time. And the thing is, this surprise, it's like a Kinder Egg surprise, right? It's like when you think you know what you are getting yourself into, you discover something new. And the thing with, I don't know if you are aware of this as well, Trevor, but like there's, they're also building a new venue down there as well in the bottom floor, so under
the lower levels. Yes.
Yeah, they're turning that into an event purposed venue as well. It's not ready as of yet, but it's coming along pretty well. And the amount of mazes and hidden rooms and different activities, it's endless in MCC. And then when you have experienced all of that, you experience the rooftop, which is kind of like the icing on the cake up there, and this is very much the vision of what we're trying to create. This kind of, you should be able to experience this event from so many different levels and different moods. So some areas will have a more formal mood, others are more about thought leadership, other areas are more about relaxation and having a good time. And there is something for everyone, and that's the unique part of MCC, and you get this in this like incredible environment.
Martin. I think there's a reason we're calling it Next Valletta, and not Next Malta, because like it's really focused on Valletta. It's such a fantastic location, and I mean all the official networking events and almost all side events are actually hosted in Valletta, so you can just walk from the MCC conference, straight to the networking events, and that's not very common in iGaming conferences. There's usually like taxis and transports involved. So,
city built by gentlemen for gentlemen. That's Valletta for you.
Martin, I like the nuggets.
It's that no, that's Valletta for you.
Please, Trevor, come with one little nugget of information between every question. Can we do that?
I will try.
That'd be great. Okay.
But Martin, when you walked into the venue the very first time, how did you feel?
I mean, it's a real, it's a real wow factor. It's like. I think first, where we're using the expo hall, they had the high ceilings and the beams, but I think the most, impressive thing is actually like a conference room with like the 1,000 seats and the big theater style, it's a hall. It's a massive stage, and we've had some really good keynotes and presentations there, and there's a lot of experienced speaker in this industry who've done a lot of talks, but even the best ones get a bit nervous, when they go on stage there in front of 1,000 people.
So you already know you're going to have quite a large number of people attending, right?
Correct. We're trending over 5,000 delegates, which is an increase from last year's 4,000.
So those are impressive numbers. But now, let's move a bit on from Next.io, from the Valletta show itself. You talked about the political support. You talked about also Ivan Filletti and his team at Gaming Malta. There's also iGen, Enrico Bradamante and his team. How, by having, and you have talked about the political support, and not for the want of repeating myself, but how important is it for you not just to have these entities, but to have them all collaborating to see the industry grow? Does that make Malta an ideal location to to grow and invest or start up your gaming business?
Here's the thing, Trevor. You know, I've lived here for 13 years. Martin was here for an equal amount of time as well. And if it wasn't for the support of the government and just the business-friendly nature of this island, there are so many points that we wouldn't have survived as a company. And I think COVID is really a good example of that, where it was thanks to the government's initiatives to recognize that many organizations, especially within the event world, needed help to continue to
do business,
continue operations. And the thing is, coming out of that period and being able to grow and come back to life and become bigger than before, we feel that we are indebted to the island to really make sure that we do our job to promote the island the best way we possibly can. You know, we want Malta to be seen as an island of thought leadership, where serious business is done, not only within the iGaming industry but also in the various tech sectors that the island is investing in. And it is honestly an honor for us to be able to repay that gratitude that we got during the COVID pandemic, particularly. So I can't understate how grateful we feel that we were able to bring this many people to Malta, and we are able to help the Maltese islands to continue to flourish.
Martin, before you jump in, if I can add on, it's something which Pierre just said, but if I may add on to the question, concretely, what sort of assistance did you receive during COVID in order to let your company continue on the island, but also prepare you to flourish in the manner you guys are actually growing? I mean, 4,000 to 5,000, that's 1,000 people year-on-year growth. That's impressive numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it was nervous times when the 10th of March 2020 happened and all events were cancelled from one day to the other, which meant that we lost 100% of our revenue for the entire year. And it was really difficult to know what to do. We had scheduled iGaming Next, which was what the event was called at that time, for later in the autumn. And if you remember, in the beginning of the pandemic, people thought that, when summer comes, it's gonna blow over, you know. So business as usual for a lot of businesses.
Yeah,
and I remember there was another conference in Malta.
No, there was a party in summer. Okay, there were some idiots who I actually know personally, and I gave them the mouthful they deserved. But some idiots decided to organize a party, and all of a sudden COVID spread like wildfire in summer. It was a disaster, if you remember. They all told us.
I remember. It wasn't Corinthia. It was Radisson. I remember now the famous party. Yeah,
it was Radisson. Yeah, but the thing is, like, you know, we didn't know what was going to happen in the beginning. So, like, if you go back to like March, April, I remember there was another conference that was scheduled to take place in end of March, and they postponed that conference until May. Right, so they thought that May
it will blow over.
Okay. Yeah, May 2020. So like no one knew what was going to happen, but we were really early. We canceled iGaming Next that was supposed to take place in October, already in April or May, I believe. And we expected this to take a lot longer time, and we're really happy in hindsight that we did that, and we kind of doubled down in our digital strategy. But the support that the government gave us was essentially that. We got financial support per employee. So this was the standard scheme that certain industries got, and that allowed us to pay our employee salaries at that time, because we couldn't afford to pay them ourselves. So instead of having to let them go, the government supported us and other organizations to retain the staff within the organization. We still had to lower salaries. So like we lowered, me and Martin, we also lowered our salaries in solidarity with our employees, and we kind of hunkered down and lived very cheaply there. But it was because of that support that we were able to go through that period and kind of reinvent the company, double down on a digital strategy, and then at the end of the year, at the end of 2020, we had kind of gotten back up to speed with a kind of new style of business. We had to kind of reinvent the business. So if it wasn't for the government, we would have not been here today for sure.
Yeah, and I remember also they allowed a delay on VAT payments and things like that. So they did a lot of things to make people get through this, And again, by doing so, we flourished after, and we actually reimbursed our employees the salary cut they had after, when everything was fine again. So.
Yeah.
And you're mentioning employees. How many employees do you currently have?
Yeah, now we are almost 40 people.
Almost 40.
40 full time.
Based.
So we are about 22, 23 here in Malta, and then we have a lot of staff in the UK. We have someone in Sweden. We have a few in the Philippines as well, and others who live a little bit here and there.
Pretty large mix.
Yeah, it's a big. We are a remote first organization, so we support the fact that we can hire talent from anywhere in the world if we need to.
We have lots of nationalities in the company for sure.
That's the reality in the gaming world as well. But is it an easy reality to hire in Malta? If you don't mind me asking.
It depends on the role very much. So like we are, both SiGMA and Next.io, we are in a niche industry in a way where we need very particular skill sets in some of the roles that we hire, and in some experience, in some roles, there's only a handful of people in the whole world that can hit the ground running sometimes.
Okay.
And that's why it's so important to be able to hire from all over the world. However, when there are roles that are more general, where we can hire in Malta, we always hire in Malta to make sure that Malta remains our home and where we kind of prioritize our employees to be. And to be honest, it's always a great experience to hire here. We get great candidates, and throughout the years, Trevor, like I've seen it from 13 years ago when the talent pool was much younger, including myself, I guess. People's experience levels have grown much higher these days. Like people are much more experienced, they're much more professional, and people have grown up on this island, from being young customer support agents to being full-blooded professionals in
just
various
like
fields.
The industry has matured, so are the employees maturing as well.
Absolutely, 100%.
For sure.
We only have a few minutes left. So I have one main question, which is, what is next for Next.io?
Martin, you think?
Yeah, I mean, right now the focus is on improving and making the two main conferences we're already doing, which is Next New York and Next Valletta. That will be the case next year as well. We'll continue with those two. But our most exciting new thing, I think, is our elite retreats. So we're doing like a C-level get-together for like 100 people in different destinations around the world. And this year we're doing one in Cyprus in October and one in Cancun in November. And each of these have like 100 invited people from different sectors and a good mix of operators and suppliers and other interesting individuals.
And why Cyprus? It's an interesting choice, especially given what SiGMA's doing in Cyprus as well.
Well, it's a great island in the sense they have some really good beach side resorts that are a bit high end, and also there's a lot of gaming community there already.
Yes, it's strong community.
And one of the main points as well is it's end of October, so we wanted to maximize the chance of good weather, and Cyprus is very high on that front in October.
And which locality will you be doing it? Limassol, Paphos?
It's close to Paphos, yes.
It's close to Paphos, okay.
Yeah, yes. Okay,
great. There are some great swimming locations over there as well. My favorite swimming location is actually in Larnaca. I love to swim. It's my sport. So I managed to explore a few beaches whilst I was there, but from the water side, not from the beach side. And so you have Larnaca, you have Paphos, you have Cancun in the coming months, and for Malta and New York. Any element of innovation over there? Anything new which is going to be happening, or even for this edition, what will be different from last year, if anything?
The biggest news, Trevor, for the Valletta event is that we are bringing 2 active Formula 1 drivers to Malta. or rather Play and Go are bringing 2 active Formula 1 drivers to Malta. This is the first time ever.
The Haas guys?
First time ever. Yes, exactly. This is the first time ever 2 active Formula 1 drivers are
Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hulkenberg.
You know it. Yeah, you know it. You're well read.
Well, I wake up. I've been waking up quite early in the morning to follow. I'm a huge Ferrari fan, and this year finally,
they are coming back.
Yeah. I've
actually
seen Ferrari win a championship in Spa many years ago with Michael Schumacher. Yeah,
back in the days.
Back in the days, it was brilliant, and we were actually, you could actually then walk onto the circuit after the race. He won it at Spa, so Schumacher won the championship at Spa. That's how early he won it, at the time when Ferrari were dominating, and we could actually see the celebration from the there wasn't a pit wall, there was a fence, so you could actually see through the Ferrari paddock and see the celebrations going on. It was a fantastic experience. If you're looking up the year, I can't remember the year exactly, Pierre, but I'd say it was late to early 2000s, if I'm not mistaken, when this happened.
That's a good memory.
Yeah, for Valletta, we're also growing in delegates, as I mentioned, which means we're utilizing more of MCC. So we have more things going on downstairs in La Valette, like entertainment area, like the expo floor upstairs sold out. So we have more stands downstairs as well, together with an entertainment area and a lunch area, and there's a separate track there. So there's more stands, more entertainment area, more things to do, more tracks, more seating for meetings, etc. So a little bit of improvement in everything, and the content team have been working super hard for almost half a year on the perfect agenda. So
okay, it will be interesting to have the Formula 1 drivers for sure. And what about the conference? The conference will be happening over the same spread of days, and will you have the pre-conference like you had last year?
So we have pre-registration the day before, but the main content days are the 15th and the 16th. And there's also a bunch of sports activities like golf and paddle and running club and things happening before as well. So, but we have the main stage and then a bunch of different side tracks about investment and tech and HR and a bunch of different topics.
Brilliant. Guys, thank you so much for accepting to be our guests today on SiGMA. I wish you the best of luck for the show. I know it's going to be a great show, but still, wish you the best of luck. I hope it all goes well. And also, I'd like to remind the viewers of the SiGMA podcast that you can get all SiGMA content on our YouTube channel. Over there, I also urge you to subscribe to the channel and also post notifications in order to be kept up to date with what is going on with SiGMA World. Pierre, Martin, thank you so much for being our guests today.
Thank you.
Good ever.
Cheers.
See you soon.